Hare Krishna, Namaste. Chapter 16 is entitled as Daivāsura Sampad Vibhaga Yoga, the yoga of the divine and demonic nature. Sloka 5, Part 2. Daivī sampad vimokṣāya, nibandhāyāsurī matā, śucaḥ sampadaṁ daivīm, abhijāto Pāṇḍava. The transcendental qualities are conducive to liberation, whereas the demoniac qualities make for bondage. Do not worry, O son of Pāṇḍu, for you are born with the divine qualities. From the first part of this sloka, we learned that those who have divine nature will attain liberation. Those who have demoniac nature will get bonded into this material world. Daivī sampad vimokṣāya, nibandhāyāsurī matā. Hearing this, Arjuna was taken back. He was worried, thinking what in case if he falls into the second category, the demoniac category, then he will be entangled into this world. He won't be liberated. This is the second time where Arjuna was put into this condition, an uncertain situation where he was very much worried. The first time that Arjuna felt sadness is in the second chapter, and the second time over here in the 16th chapter, and the third time is when we get to the 18th chapter. But each time is worry or different from the previous one. It's not one and the same. Arjuna was depressed and worried in the second chapter, and Krishna's assurance over here is not for the worries that Arjuna had in the second chapter. That was different from the 16th chapter. How do we understand that? That over here when Krishna says ma śucaḥ, it is not addressing the worries of second chapter, because here Krishna says, Arjuna, you are with divine qualities, therefore don't worry. But in chapter 2, Arjuna's worries are not about whether he has a divine qualities or demoniac qualities. Rather, it is different, totally different. At the start of the war, the grief Arjuna felt was different from the current situation. In the earlier occasion, he was worried over his having to kill the relatives, friends, teachers. So by killing them, he may get sin and go to hell. Krishna dispelled that worries by imparting knowledge about Atma, the spirit soul, which is different from the body. As long as we have identification and relation with the body, through the body, there is going to be problems in life all the time. When we realize we are not the body, we are Atma, then our view changes, our perspective changes. Less we will worry about anything that's happening around us. This was imparted to Arjuna. Therefore Arjuna was free of such worries. Now, here in chapter 16, after hearing Krishna classifying people into two groups, one as divine with divine qualities, and other one as demonic with their respective demonic qualities, Arjuna was worried for the second time for different reason, not knowing which category he falls into. And in the second half of this sloka, Krishna confirms that Arjuna, you fall into the divine category. Why? Because you are son of Pāṇḍu. Therefore, you can't be of demoniac nature. Pāṇḍu is foremost among the virtuous. Sons with demoniac attributes will not be born to those who reached an exalted state through their virtuous conduct and noble deeds. Therefore, you being son of Pāṇḍu, who was highly virtuous in conduct, cannot be a demoniac being. This may raise a question in mind. Well, all those who are born to good people are not necessarily should be considered as divine. All those who are born to bad people not necessarily considered to be demoniac. So what is that defines one to be demoniac or divine? Daivīm sampadaṁ abhijāto. Krishna gives the answer. You are born to have the divine disposition. Right at the time of birth, it is already defined whether this person, this child who just took birth, is divine or of demoniac nature. Now the question comes, what defines a person to be divine or demoniac? Is it something God chooses randomly? The answer is certainly not. It is not a random selection where you be born as a divine and you be born as a demoniac. The Lord doesn't treat the living entities like that. What defines is the good deeds, punya karya, performed during the countless previous birth. One becomes the recipient of Krishna's glance in full at the time of one's birth. Arjuna, otherwise, could you imagine you being my direct disciple and hearing directly from me the essence of all the Upanishad? From this, understand that you are of divine nature. But we may still have the question, why did Arjuna get this doubt about himself in first place? Doesn't he know that he is a nice person? Doesn't he know that he is different from the evil people? Doesn't he know that he has conquered the lust when he faced the Apsara Rambha in the heavenly planet? Doesn't he know that Krishna, the Supreme Lord, has become his chariot driver for his good conduct? Doesn't he know that he is son of Pāṇḍu, who is well known for his virtuous conduct? Then why did Arjuna get this doubt? Usually if it was us, we will never have this doubt because we think we are perfect. We never make mistake. We are very generous. We are very humble. We are very truthful. We are very charitable. We are self-controlled. We know all the Vedas and scriptures. We are very simple. We never commit any violence to anyone. We never get angry. We are very renounced. We don't find fault in others. We are very compassionate to all living beings. We are gentle, modest, forgiving, very clean in our habits, free of envy, free from the passion of honor. That is what we think about ourselves. And we think about others as full of pride. They are arrogant. They are angry person. They are harsh. They are in ignorance. Others are always wrong. This is the illusion we are in. Whereas, who has all the good qualities, thinking himself not qualified, this is the mood of Vaishnava, a true devotee. In Nectar of Devotion, chapter 23, Nectar of Devotion is summary of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu by Srila Rupa Goswami. Over there, Krishna's personality is analyzed into 4 categories: Dhiro Dhata, Dhira Lalita, Dhira Prashanta, and Dhiro Datta. A Dhiro Dhata person is who is naturally very grave, gentle, forgiving, merciful, determined, humble, highly qualified, chivalrous and physically attractive. A person is called Dhira Lalita if he is naturally funny, always in full youthfulness, expert in joking, and free from all anxieties. Dhira Prashanta, a person who is very peaceful, forbearing, considerate and obliging, are called Dhira Prashanta. Whereas a person who is very envious, proud, easily angered, restless and complacent is called Dhirodhata. For those who are interested to know further about the details of these 4 types of personality, kindly refer to Nectar of Devotion, chapter 23. Sometimes Bhima, the second brother of Pāṇḍava, is also described as Dhirodhata, and sometimes Arjuna, the third brother of the Pāṇḍavas, is also described as Dhirodhata Nayaka. Elsewhere in the Dasarupaka Lakshanam, it is described the Dhirodhata Nayaka has certain attributes: Mahasattvaha, Atigambiraha, Kshamavan, Avikattanaha, Tiraha, Nibandhāyāsurī, Dhirodhatu, Dridhavritaha. Mahasattvaha is one with great strength. Atigambiraha, one whose mind cannot be read, one whose thought process is unknown. Kshamavan, tolerance. Avikattanaha, one who is free of self-praise. Tiraha, very determined. Nibandhāyāsurī, one who hides the ahankara within oneself. Such person who has these qualities are called Dhirodhata Nayaka. Out of all this, Arjuna is concerned about ahankara because he learned from Krishna earlier that one should not have ahankara, the false ego, because that is the nature of demoniac person. Hence he was worried whether he has ahankara. Krishna said, Ma śucaḥ, no, you are accepted, you are not of that kind of ahankara, so do not worry. When we studied one of the nature of demoniac people, abhimānaha, which is having excessive favorable opinion of one's own ability, then that is not accepted. But whereas manaha, if one has abhimana of their own birth, education, service, etc., to some extent it is tolerable. Therefore Krishna says, Ma śucaḥ, do not worry, you are of divine nature. To conclude, the cluster of divine dispositions that has been discussed from Sloka 1 through 3 is conducive to liberation, and the qualities that explained in Sloka 4 of asuric nature, demoniac nature, is deemed to be the cause of more and more bondage in samsara. O son of Pāṇḍu, you need not grieve at all. You are born destined to be endowed with the divine nature. The Jivatma, the living entity, in their essential nature are equal. They are all alike. All of them are subservient to the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. This being the case, what is the reason for the beings, living entities, to be born divided into 2 classes, one as devas, another one as asuras? This doubt is to be removed. Also, it has to be told that one should completely get rid of the qualities that belongs to asuric beings. For this purpose, Krishna begins in the next verse to describe the conduct of the demoniac beings. Daivī sampad vimokṣāya nibandhāyāsurī matā śucaḥ sampadaṁ daivīm abhijāto Pāṇḍava. Namaste. Hare Krishna.